Hey people, it's me again. So, anyways, I talked about this sort of thing earlier as far as when it comes to like VO3 and all. So, um, it was one of the things that initially, when it came to like VO3 from the beginning, that I could do like other languages through um, Google Gemini, but I couldn't do it through uh, Google Flow as far as that goes. If I want a person to specifically say a certain thing, but although through Flow I had to say like what they would say in that language in English, rather than just do like word for word of what they would say in whatever language, whether it would be, Spanish, German, French, Japanese, Finnish, Urdu, or Chinese, Mandarin, or Cantonese, or Thai, and any other languages that it also made certain characters speak in, whether if it was that. So basically, I was also thinking of like maybe I should try Sora 2 if I want to, because of how interesting how people did some funny stuff with Sora 2 as far as um, doing their own uh, clips from South Park or Family Guy. But I don't know if they ever did Sora 2 when it came to The Simpsons, but I think they did, like, one with, like, um, SpongeBob, SquarePants, and all that. But then, of course, the latest trend was having all of these dead celebrities and, appearing in WWE as far as that goes, where they had, like, Tupac on and Biggie on WWE, and they were both trash talking each other as far as that goes. And, which is a bit hilarious when you think about it. But then again, there are certain times that people might have gone too far with certain people there, so I don't know. So, considering all of that, I could also wait until, like, you know, like the next version of that AI model, as far as like VEO 3.5 or 4, when that comes around in about another couple more months or so of that sort, you know. So, and it also depends on like which platform that has like the best there, because there were not just that one where it's just through Google and having like Google Gemini and Flow, but there was another one like that works similar to it, but I don't know. And then when it came to like when it came to like um, when it came to Sora 2, I think I did use one there, but I can't even remember the name of what platform it was on, as far as that goes. But then I could also just wait for like Sora 2 to become available for Android phones of that sort, because the whole AI model itself is only available on iTunes and all that. So, but it also kind of depends on what if I want to do my own face, my own voice on Sora 2 and all that, because then again, there's gonna be people that are gonna do some funny shit with it, you know, as far as that goes, because I remember where one guy did that, and then they made him like cross dress as a French maid or something like that, or say he was gay or other stuff, and or make him a gym bro or a wrestler or something like that, you know, which as far as that goes when it comes to like the wrestling thing from like VO3 and all, I think I should start to run out of ideas what I want to do with them at this point. You know, because here I was doing that sort of thing since August. You know, or was it the end of July, start of August, and now it's like I just gotta run out of ideas at that point. You know, but I think as soon as I probably get like some more inspiration on that, you know, when it comes to uh, what I want to do with certain characters like Jake Shorty or like Lollywood Star or the Sea, and then the ones that I hadn't even used that much as in a while was of course like Crocmaster, and then the what's her name, Kashmir, and all those other characters at that point there. But when it came to that, I had trouble um, with flow because I wanted to do a clip where it kind of brings in the other characters in. You know, the newest one that was Takeshi Yamamura, and Takeshi is Sayako's older brother, and I wanted her like to go and you know when say like Oni-san, you know, when or Oni-chan like that when she sees him, you know, because that's how you say like brother, you know, like Oni-san or Ni-san, you know, because after all, I have two older brothers, so in Japanese, I would also address him that way, you know. And then when it came to um, uh, like any of the other ones, because I just did not know what I want to do with that character Kashmir, because I think I had written her off a bit, but um, but then I think one of my biggest complaints about it was I think I just did not know how to make the them look more consistent, because a lot of times when it came to like uh, Lollywood Star, where he's supposed to have a Canadian accent, there were times where he's speaking with a Pakistani accent, even though he's supposed to be part Pakistani, you know, or at least just, you know, grew up in Canada but have like Pakistani parents and all that, you know, or something like that. You know, in the case with like the Sikh, you know, it was like one of the other problems was, of course, is like their physiques are changed a bit, you know, but as far as like Lollywood Star, he's supposed to have more of a really muscular physique. And it's supposed to be, I think I would say, comparable to be more like Finn Balor's physique, or one of the other ones where they have really good definition on their biceps and the pecs and then the abs a bit. You know, he's supposed to be at least that. And then as far as like the Sikh, he's supposed to be more on the athletic side. You know. And I think and it's kind of a way that you can tell who's who. you know. But it was also the fact that when it came to the Sikh, he wears purple, and then the whole turban was more of an aesthetic there. It was kind of like how it was with Jinder Mahal, you know, where he would wear wear a turban back then when he was also part of what was it called, 3WB. That was the name of the tag team when he was with Drew McIntyre and Heath Slater. You know, as far as that goes. And then when he was just by himself, he also still wore the turban, but he also wore just a black turban, and where it wasn't like completely tied together, you know. And then, but however, it was like when he was a part of like 3EW, he also wore I forgot what they call the robe, because he wears that, and usually he would take that off and take off the turban, and then he usually just has like the trunks on. But I think it's supposed to have like an Indian theme of it there, but still. And then when it came to like the other people there, I'm trying to remember exactly. I think it was when it came to the other characters, and I completely forgot to do that. You know, when it came to like that one Patty McCullough, she's supposed to be um, like what's her name, Becky Lynch, and she's supposed to be like Becky Lynch, and then she's supposed to have the Irish accent, and didn't, and they kind of didn't do it correctly because but she's supposed to have like this general Irish accent, because where you can't tell where she's from Ireland, other than she's Irish. But there's supposed to be like a bit of a distinction of where they're from in Ireland, whether they're, because a person that is from Dublin will speak a certain way, and a person that's from Cork speaks a certain way, but then anybody that lives in a more rural part of Ireland, it's like up in the Highlands, would also speak a certain way. But then people that are from Northern Ireland, whether they're from Belfast or one of the other cities in Northern Ireland, would also speak a certain way. But it's just a slight variation of that. But then when it came to Crockmaster, it did like the Australian accent there, but it's, as far as that goes, I think Crockmaster, he's supposed to have a an accent where you can't tell where he's from, but it's supposed to be a bit of a bogan accent, or at least a guy that's trying to do a bogan accent, like somebody that's Australian trying to do a bogan accent, where it's just making fun of the bogans or something like that. But that's kind of like the case there, you know. But I think of like the bogan accent and more like Crocodile Dundee, you know, or that character Percival something, but he was supposed to be the bad guy from Rescuers Down Under, if I remember the movie correctly. But anyways, I've been rambling for quite a bit, anyways, and I just got, you know, derailed here. So, anyways, when it came to all of that, I think I'm gonna have to also experiment with a lot of other stuff here, you know, as far as, and then thinking about what I want to do with some of the other characters here. So, and then not to mention, I'm probably gonna have to also write notes on the characters, you know, as far as their backstories, the, you know, and their move sets and all of that, you know, and whether or not like VO3 could do a good job of that, or I can wait until like the next version of it, when it's like VO 3.5, VO 4, whatever it is, and when it came to like Sora 2, I don't know. So, anyways, I guess that's probably it. So, talk to you guys later.